Okay, I'm going to tell the grey dog joke now. So, identical twins called Emal and Juan grow up and leave home. And one day their mother gets a letter from Juan and it has a photograph of him in it. And she says, "Oh, I miss him. And I wish I had a photo of Emal as well." And her husband says, "Well, you know, darling, if you've seen Juan, you've seen them all." Okay, so people who don't usually watch this channel are going, "What is that? Who's Grey Dog?" Well, you know, get with the program, subscribe, and you'll know stuff like who Grey Dog is. Grey Dog made the brush I'm using today, by the way. So yeah, but we'll get to that. This is a tag video. A tag was created by Jack from the virtual groom room, and it's "Why do I wet shave?" And he tagged Chris Bailey at IMCDB, who felt he had to improve it a bit, the title, and he calls it "Why do I shave traditionally?" And that's funny because this is a bit internal now, but it's funny because when Chris invents tags, he's enormously annoyed when people change the tag. So that's funny. So I don't know what I'm going to call this. Why do I wet shave traditionally? Maybe. But that's what we're going to talk about. And it's evening. We have coffee. Coffee before bed, you say. And I say, yeah, bring them on. The shave today will be with tobacco and the Grey Dog brush. This is a full moon synthetic knot of I don't know the measurements, and it's maple from Grey Dog's backyard. The razor is Ralph Aust. It's made in Solingen in Germany. It's a handmade razor, 6/8 of an inch in thickness, or what do you call it? Width? I don't know. It's a full hollow razor. So it's ground. I'm gonna cut myself. It's ground to a very fine edge at the very end. Not the prettiest razor. Doesn't look much. It has a round point and nice wooden scales, but pretty basic. But this is newly made. Well, this one is a few years old, and this is probably the best bang for the buck, or for the euro. Just came up with that that you can get, because what did I pay? Well, this was a gift from my wife. It's very cheap for what you get, or inexpensive for what you get. So Ralph Aust, I recommend, and you can get it from a few different places, both in North America and in Europe. So, and then I'm going to finish with the aftershave lotion from Tobacco, which has a very, very matching scent. So we'll get working on this. Face is prepped. It's nicely washed with a purpose. What do you say? With a soap that has the purpose of just that, cleaning your face. It's from, today it was from Grönlycka, Swedish artisan. And then I put a bit of, moisturizer on a while before the shave. Today was quite a while, just to make sure the skin is moist and nice and hydrated properly before the shave, because then my post-shave experience is better. So that's that. So tobacco, very traditional shaving soap. It's been around since the 50s. I think it's written on since 1959. And it's a classic. It has a scent not everyone likes. It's supposed to smell like the tobacco flower. I didn't like it at first. Now I really do. And from a performance point of view, if you're not a traditional wet shaver yet, you say, what is performance? Well, I probably will get to that during the video, but it's, you know, how well it performs. It's very nice from a performer point of view. So all good stuff today, all stuff you can actually purchase and is not excruciatingly expensive. The only additional thing that you need to shave with a straight razor is a strop, a leather strop, where you know, in between shaves you keep the edge of the razor sharp. That's all you need. It's quite a bit actually. And you know, the fact that it's quite a bit and it's an equipment sport is part of the fun. I started out shaving traditionally, or wet shaving. Well, wet shaving for a long while. I've used a cream and a brush for 25 years, at least 25 years. But the traditional part of the shave, or proper traditional, using a straight razor and a strop and things like that, I started 5 or 6 years ago. I don't quite keep track anymore. Let's say it's 6 years ago, 5.5. And to be honest, the reason why I started, and it's part of the reason why I keep doing it now, is that I thought it was cool. Cool as in cool, you know. Traditional, you put a knife to your face. It's archaic and sophisticated at the same time. Just cool, you know. It's a cool thing to do. Thought it was a cool thing to tell people that I am doing. Oh, no. Don't put it in your nose, boys and girls. And that's still true. That's still true. I enjoy the surprise in people's eyes that you sometimes get when you say, you know, I shave with a straight razor. What is that? It's like a knife. And they go, oh, this dude is cool. They probably don't think that, but that's why I got started, and then I got stuck. Then I enjoyed it very much, and but it took a few years, I'd say 2 years, before I started discovering the multitude of things that are in traditional wet shaving. If you become a hobbyist, if you make it your hobby, and if you start collecting stuff, it's a bottomless pit, or a rabbit hole, if you will. But that took some time. Oh, that's when I was joining Facebook groups and started watching YouTube, and you see the multitude of things that people have. And I'm not a collector in general. I've never really collected anything, and I don't collect to collect, but I have a collection, if that makes sense. I like getting new things. I like trying new things out. A lot of the new things are old, like old straight razors is fun. They have a history, and you know, they've been around for a long time. So that's part of it as well. I think we're getting to a pretty decent lather here. And the whole ritual thing, because it is a ritual, attracts me. It wouldn't have when I was younger, but I remember the first time I was in Japan and we went to a spa, a Japanese spa, and the ritual and the water and the cleaning and all of that was just so cool. That had nothing to do with shaving, but that's another example of the attraction that I have, and a lot of people have, to to rituals and to cleansing and I don't know, stuff like that. Okay, we're going to put the steel to the face and straight razor shave. When I had been shaving with a straight razor for, well, a few years, 2-3 years, I got diagnosed. This is how lathers should behave, by the way. Should have the moisture that it barely, but indeed drops off the razor with gravity. That's my kind of lather anyway. I got diagnosed with a Parkinson's disease. And I go on and on about this on the channel. People are super bored. But if you're new and that's a bit of a shock, obviously. And part of the reaction I got to getting diagnosed was, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, straight razor shaving with Parkinson's disease. Because it's funny, crazy. It's like the worst hobby you can have if you have that condition in people's minds, because a lot of people with Parkinson's have shaking. I don't, I have other problems. I'm very slow at shaving, and that's, I conveniently blame the disease. So I don't want to go on and on about the disease, but that became, the shaving and the YouTube channel became rather important ways to deal with the surprise or the shock of the diagnosis. So that is also a reason why I continue to shave traditionally. And if I said I would stop talking about it, but and if I like the slight surprise in people's minds when I tell them I shave with a straight razor, the shock when I tell people I have PD is even bigger. Something dies within them, and that's maybe not funny, but also a little bit. So I just enjoy the combination of the two, basically, and telling people about that. So yeah, I mean, dealing with the disease is another big reason why I do it. Nowadays, I think the biggest reason why I continue to shave, well, it's not true, because I wouldn't stop. Oops, you can cut yourself with these things. I wouldn't stop anyway, but you know, as it is going to get more and more difficult for me to perform a good shave, the thing that I will miss the most, and the thing that's gonna push me to keep at it for as long as possible is the people in the community. And you know, you don't have to be in a nerdy and wonderful community to shave traditionally or to wet shave. You can do that on your own, obviously. But for me, I'm a grown man and everything, but so it sounds funny perhaps, but I've made such good, look at that lather, such good friends in the wet shaving community that lives on, these days, on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And, you know, it's such a nice bunch of people. You know, we think we're manly men who do this manly thing, but we're sweethearts deep down. And, you know, the dialogue and the communication isn't tough or very manly at all. It's childish at times, but it's genuinely supportive, it's funny, and that it's a pretty big part of my life. You know, interacting with other people who have this weird hobby to shave with a straight razor or a DE safety razor, which is more common. And I'm if I stop being able to shave with a straight, I'm not so sure I would stick in the Facebook groups, and I would obviously not do YouTube anymore. I think maybe I would disappear. So, and that's genuinely frightens me a bit. It sounds silly, and it doesn't have to be as dramatic as that, but I'd miss the community and the people, put it that way, a lot. So yeah, those are my main reasons for wet shaving traditionally. And as a bonus, you get to try out new stuff all the time. So it's part of the collection, and you know, I give away stuff. People give me things and I give them away, and that's how the community works very much. But the fact that every shave is different is a big pleasure too, and that's not for everyone. I think probably most people who shave traditionally do not have 50 soaps and 20 razors and 13 brushes. They should probably shave with this way because they enjoy it, and they're not addicted to getting new shit all the time like a lot of us are. But for me, you know, constantly trying new things out, old things too, but new for me, is a big joy. If I had to, for money reasons, if I had to get rid of everything apart from one razor, and I'd have to use the same good but inexpensive soap and just have one brush and wear stuff out, I'd be quite happy. And I would continue using them. I wouldn't stop, not at all. So that's why I call this pleasure of choosing between. I have a lot of different stuff. It's a bonus. It's not an essential part of the enjoyment. Is it though? It's a big part of the enjoyment. It's not the main reason why I continue to shave with a straight. Because I would enjoy it almost as much if I only had one. And for a year or more, for a year, I only had one razor. And then I got this one. And then I had two. I could swap, and that was like, wow. And this one was better. So you realize, oh, there's different qualities and different styles. And wow. I sort of didn't know, didn't pay attention, didn't care. I used the same cream, the maca root cream from the Body Shop for over 20 years. Only thing I used. I had no interest in even checking if there was something else. And it's not like I thought shaving was a drag. I didn't get irritation. I quite, still to this day, quite enjoy shaving with a cartridge razor. When I travel and I take an airplane, I usually bring my Mac 3. I do bring a proper soap, a nice soap and a nice brush. I always do that. Well, almost always. Because for me, that's the main thing to get a good shave. I get a good shave with a Mac 3 as well. I'm not posh or anything. It's boring, not very interesting, but I can get a good shave out of it. But I, you know, maca root, still a good cream. And I just wasn't interested. And then it becomes a hobby, and a hobby is a hobby. So I've rinsed warm, well, you know, normal washing temperature. I'm gonna do a cold rinse as well because it feels nice and it sort of closes the skin pores, I think. I'm hoping people who don't shave this way are watching. That's why I'm sort of explaining a few things. Why does he do that? Why did he rinse twice? Did he get dirty again? No, I didn't. Warm and cold. Okay. One holy ritual of traditional wet shaving is what you put on your face after you've shaved. And I'm going to, as I said before, put on the matching aftershave splash lotion thing. So I put a bit of this. This is just, you know, normal aftershave, but probably with a bit of skin food. I have no idea what's in it. Has a little bit of a burn, and it's nice. Yeah, this has something in it that does good things to the skin. Rehydrates it or something. I put a balm on anyway, so yeah, that was my God. I've been monologuing quite a bit about this. I'm going to tag a few people. Going to tag Chris Maiden, whose YouTube channel is Another Cut Above. Chris is super busy and barely makes videos anymore, but you know, if you make one, do this tag while you make it, please. No hard feelings if you don't, but if you want to, go ahead. Then I'm going to call on Jeffrey Smith, and that's his YouTube channel as well. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on why you wet shave traditionally. See, I'm struggling with this already. Should have added something, the third thing. And finally, I'm calling on Justin McIntyre, the Red Island Shaver. I have a good idea of what you're going to say, but I because I know you, but I think people should hear why you wet shave, and I think those three people could give a slightly different view and have slightly different reasons. Let's see, who knows. Thank you, Chris, for the tag. Thank you, Jack, for coming up with this. I thought this was one of the better tag ideas I've heard in a while. Thank you all for watching. And again, you know, if you, for example, didn't know who Grey Dog was, and if you liked what you saw, you may subscribe to the channel. It is appreciated. Otherwise, you know, just not do it. take care, everybody, and have a great upcoming week, or at least try and survive it. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay sharp.